happiness. As she was still wondering how she could manage alone, and how it was possible for her to improve the house that had belonged to her father and mother, another relative, who she had not seen for several years, wrote to her. She said how deeply distressed she was to hear of the accident that had killed her parents. As she realized that she was now completely alone in the world, she suggested that Joanna should go north and stay with her until they both decided what she should do in the future. "It seems strange," the letter went on, "that you are almost the only relative I have in my old age. I thought, as I had never married, that it would be possible for me to find a young male relative who would make this ancestral home that I inherited from my parents a place where all our relatives could come at Christmas or other times. But as we have been so scattered, I have no one to whom I feel that the house will be a happy memory to all of those who visit it. Unfortunately, one by one, either through wars or old age, our relations have died. I now find myself almost month by month crossing out someone on the family tree. Now your parents have left us, you, my dear, are the one member of the family I am able to see. I believe we had one or two distant cousins who were living abroad and who have all died there. Therefore, I suggest that you and I do our best to make the family name known and respected as it has been for the last 500 years. So, my dear, come north, stay with me as soon as you can. We can therefore discuss exactly how we can make the family name just as well known and respected as it has always been throughout the centuries." Joanna had read her cousin's letter through 2 or 3 times. She thought the idea carefully through in her mind, and decided that, although her relative was very kind, she must go back to the house where her parents had always been so happy. Because she had been travelling so much, she had not known the local people well, and when she had been at school, she had often stayed with her many friends in the holidays. She had been aware that the house her father and mother lived in was not only somewhat isolated, but their friends were few. But they were content with each other, and seldom invited people to stay at the Four Gables. And frankly, the part of the world where they lived was comparatively empty of those who found them, when they were old, interesting enough to visit. But Joanna was certain that her parents had been content to be more or less alone with just themselves for company. However, she had found the family house in rural Huntingdonshire very dull. The Four Gables was not a particularly large house, but it had been built solidly, which made the outside seem austere and unfriendly. It was built in the Elizabethan style of high chimneys, and indeed the Four Gables were instantly recognizable. But inside it was warm and cosy, and her mother had made the drawing-room especially bright and colourful, and the many bedrooms were all delightfully decorated in impeccable good taste. There were few people who she wanted her father and mother to entertain, as far as she was concerned, were not eager to entertain her. She had been delighted with the invitations that she had received from her school friends. She knew, without being in any way conceited, that she was undoubtedly popular at her school, and her friends had enjoyed as much as she had the time she had spent with them during the holidays in France or Italy rather than England. Now, when she learnt on her arrival that her parents had already been buried, she thought it really dreadful that she had not been able to be present at their funeral. Only just a few people came, the butler, who had been with her parents for over 30 years, told her, as we were not certain, Miss Joanna, how long it would be before you came home. The vicar insisted that the burial should take place, and I was in no position to contradict him, I'm afraid." "And did some of the family come to the funeral, Winslow?" Joanna asked. "I think, miss, that as the family has been, as you know, getting older, and therefore smaller than it was when I first came to your father and mother, there was really no one to make the journey here, or perhaps it all happened too quickly for those who had..."